I want to address this idea that in the internal arts, you're either going to be working towards developing health and vitality, or you're going to be working towards developing internal power. And there seems to be this idea that these two streams are completely separate. Now, when students come in to train, generally they are more focused on one of these two tracks. A lot of people these days do Qigong, Tai Chi, the internal arts, because they want to become more healthy and develop vitality. And yet you also have another crowd that comes in and they take their health for granted and they're just interested in internal power for developing in the internal martial arts. And if you start teaching a subject or a piece of one of those subjects, if it's not your main agenda, people turn off, they shut down, they don't listen. But from a Taoist perspective, these two streams are inseparable. If you train the internal martial arts, you become healthy. And if you train Qigong to develop health and vitality, you become strong. So they go hand in hand. But the Taoists always focus on first developing health, increasing vitality, and then internal power would naturally follow. So let's look at this. How do you develop these streams? And what are the layers? So to begin, there's three main layers. The flesh, what you do with your muscles, your fascia, your ligaments, your tendons. Your fluids, what you do with your blood, your interstitial fluids, cerebral spinal, lymph, synovial fluids in the joints. And what you do with your qi. Now, in the hierarchy of things, qi is at the highest. Qi tells the body what to do. So this is why we call it qi gong, yes? Because you're trying to work your body in a way in order to circulate, release, build, and develop your qi. But before you get to that point, you need to work on the body from the outside in. So when you look at the soft tissues, we in the internal arts don't focus so much on the muscles. The muscle fiber is actually the weakest fiber of your soft tissues. Your fascia is stronger, your tendons are stronger, and your ligaments are stronger. If you eat meat, you're careful to cut off the fascia, the ligaments, and the tendons and leave the muscle fiber. That is soft and it's easily digestible. But the strength of your muscle is really in the fascia that surrounds the muscle. And the fascia that surrounds the muscle comes in and forms the tendon. The tendon inserts into the bone. And the ligaments connect bone to bone. And these are very strong soft tissues. Now, the fascia is called the connective tissue of the body. So the purpose of operating the fascia is A, connect up the whole body into one whole piece. And B, when the fascia expands and stretches, so does muscle fiber. And so you go into what we call bending and stretching the soft tissues rather than contracting and building tension in the body. Then you go to the fluids and you circulate the blood, the interstitial fluid, the cerebral spinal fluid, the lymph fluid, and you get these fluids to strongly circulate through the body. When they do a few things. They feed all the cells of the body with the nutrients and the oxygen they need, and they get rid of the cellular waste and the carbon dioxide and expel it out of the system. And in so doing, bring alive every part of your external and internal anatomy. And then when you get down to the layer of qi, the qi tells the fluids what to do. The fluids feed your flesh, and the three start to integrate into one stream, one piece, one fabric. Now remember, the synergy of the three layers is far greater than the sum of the parts. So if you only do a piece of something, if you like isolation exercise where you work your quads in this exercise, you work your biceps in that exercise, you're only working a piece and you're working into disintegration, not into integration. And then I want to look at, well, what makes you weak? What makes you sickly? What diminishes your health? What diminishes your internal power? And that's blockages. Blockages you collect through your lifetime. From the first time you fall over as a child, from the first illness you get, from the first emotional trauma that you receive, you start to block the body in various ways. Now, the body holds on to everything that's ever happened to you. There is an energetic signature inside of your system to every event that has ever occurred to you. And so as you age and as you go through your life, you gather and collect more and more blockages. If you don't do anything to release those blockages, they shut down the systems of the body, they interrupt the chi flow, and they segment the body into pieces. So the Taoist perspective is to remove all blockages. And when you do, you remove what is false, and what remains must be true. It's what is of you before you were conditioned in this world. And so from this perspective, we need to look at water method, because you see the water method is a slow, gradual progression. It's not a demand or a push of the blockage out of your system. You're not making something leave your body. Yes? You're releasing. You're letting go. You're allowing those stagnancies, those blockages to drain out of your system through using smooth, slow, even, regulated and integrated motion. This is soft work. This is circular in nature. And this allows and helps the blood and the chi to circulate smoothly through the body and allow the body's internal processes to come up to their full potential. So I just want to leave you with an ancient proverb from the Chinese. The man is not sick because he has an illness. He has an illness because he is sick. If you get a flu, you become weak. But why did you get the flu? Because your system is below par. Your immune functions cannot fight off the virus, and therefore it worms its way into you and takes over. This is why if you get on an aeroplane and you fly across the Atlantic and somebody is ill on that plane, at the end of that ride, some people have caught that flu, that bug, and some haven't. If your body is functioning well, it won't have a chance of penetrating. If you're below par, it will get into you. And so the internal arts have always been about, first, taking care of your health, building vitality, preventing you from getting ill, and then becoming strong.